Hey YouTube, this is Ian from Big Rock Moto and Outdoors. What we're going to do today is just take a quick look at some of the first modifications I've done on the KTM 790 Adventure R. I'm just coming up on 600 miles, which means I just did the first oil change, getting used to the bike, putting on my farkles and mods and luggage. Just wanted to tell you guys kind of what I've done to it so far and what I have planned for the near future. So stay tuned, let's get started. Okay, so like I said, I'm still in the middle of this and I've still got a few things coming and a few things that I've ordered but haven't come in yet. So let me start off by talking you through, I'll just start with the luggage first. So I'm using the Tusk luggage. So I've got the Tusk Olympus. This is the larger tank bag. It fits really well on this bike, as you can see, and it's proven to be really durable. I had this on my GS and really like this bag. By the way, I just want to mention at the start here, I don't have any sponsorship. I don't have any affiliation with Rocky Mountain or Tusk or actually any company. I'm a completely independent journalist, so I buy all this stuff for my own money. I don't get a discount. I don't get a special deal or anything like that. So these are parts that I've chosen based on what I want and my preferences, and I have to spend my hard-earned money on them. So just giving you that disclaimer up front. So the Tusk tank bag, really happy with that. I'm just starting to use this Tusk Highland luggage. So this is their newer rackless setup. A lot of you are going to recognize this. It looks real familiar to the Moto Reckless setup, which has been out for a few years. Some people say this is kind of a copy of it. I mean, you can be the judge of that. I don't know. I've had really good experience with Tusk products in the past. And I've never had an issue with them, so I decided to go with these bags, and they fit pretty perfectly on the 790. I'll give you some different angles here. But the reason I decided to go rackless is because, one, saving weight, less complication, less stuff to bolt on the bike, and the other thing is, there's a few straps to take these things off, and then I pull that whole thing off. I've still got my day pack back here and my tank bag. So when I get to camp or whatever, I can just pull that thing off, and then I've got the bike naked, no racks, and it looks nice. So I'll show you from the back here. Pretty narrow. You can see the width is about the width of the handlebars. Yeah, about the width of the handlebars, which is what I was going for. I was super close to getting a Moto backcountry panniers with the racks from Raid Garage. I mean, it was a lot more expensive setup. The good things about the having racks and having the panniers is you don't have so many straps to deal with. So I'll give you a few things to look out for on the rackless setup. So I really like to look at those Moto panniers with the racks, but when I look at the cost of them and the fact that I have to put racks on the bike, I just figured, well, let me try this. I've never tried the rackless setup before, so we'll see how it goes. These bags, you can look up all the specs on Rocky Mountain's website. They also have really excellent install videos and setup videos. You do have to put them together. So a few things I'll tell you about these. You can see here, you do have to bolt them together when you get them. It's not that hard. Some of the holes were a little bit too small, so I had to enlarge some of the holes in the fabric just a tiny bit with a drill, but that's not a big deal. Other notes on the install that I would say, you've got a lot of straps to deal with. That's just the nature of a rackless system. So just make sure that you're, when you do your straps, that you're not getting too close to the exhaust, that you're taking up any of the slack with some holders there. Make sure to really follow the instructions and get these mounted properly. But I have to say, this Highland system fits perfectly on the 790. So I got the larger duffel bag. I think this is 33 liters, but I also have the smaller. I already had the small duffel bag that they sell, the side load one. So I've got both options to use. It has this beaver tail here. It uses the Molly system to strap extra stuff on. I bought the kit that has the accessory bags as well. So these, I don't have anything in them right now. I just kind of got these test loaded with some camping gear, but these are 4 liters accessory bags. The main bags are 25 liters. So if you add up, you've got 50 liters for the main bags, about another 8 liters for the accessory bags, and then adding your top bag. So you can get 100 liters of storage out of this thing pretty easy. Good setup. I like it. Happy with it so far. So we'll see how it goes. I'll give you a long-term update sometime in the future. The other caution I would give you about a rackless system is you're going to scratch up, you're going to mar up your side panels. That's just the way it is. That the fabric's going to be rubbing against those, and it's going to wear away the finish or the decals. So just something to keep in mind. This is an off-road bike. It's an adventure bike that slants towards off-road, so I'm not worried about getting it kind of scratched up. That's fine. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Handlebars are control. So if you watch my videos on some of my other bike setups, I use the flex bars. I love the flex bars. I put the softest elastomers in them that they come with. I love the cushion that they give you riding down the trail, the vibration damping that they give you. It just makes it feel like you're riding on a cloud. I just love the extra suspension that these set up. Also, these have quite a bit less sweep. These are a 12-degree Moto bar, so the Moto bar is a little bit wider than the Enduro bar, which I like. More room for the controls. And then the sweep on this is 12 degrees. The stock handlebar had a sweep, I don't know exactly, but it was probably more like 14 or 15 degrees. So went with more of a dirt bike style bar that gets my arms in a little bit better position for standing. I also moved the handlebar mounts to the forward position on the forward hole. It has 3 holes, but in the rear setting of that position, so you can flip the clamps around. So it's not the most forward position you can get, it's one back from that. So I prefer that, and I think that before you go and install bar risers, try that first, because it actually does move the bars up, because this is at an angle, and it puts the bars in a better position for off-road riding. Whether it's comfortable enough for your touring riding, that's going to depend on your riding style and your body type and what you're used to. But you know what? Flip the cruise control on and you don't even have to hold the handlebars that much anyway on the highway. I went with the Tusk handguards just because I know I've had really good experience with these on other bikes. I use the Tusk adapters for the flex bars and they work perfectly. It's an affordable setup and super strong. They also look good on the bike. Here, I'll show you. I'll probably take off the Tusk stickers because I don't need quite that much advertising. But these handguards are great. They mount perfectly. I did put on heated grips, so I went with the Koso Apollo heated grips. I don't know if I'm saying it right. These have the integrated switch here, which I really like. I don't like having a separate switch. This is all integrated here, so no extra wiring to a switch. You can see I don't have them wired up yet, and the reason for that is that I'm still waiting on my accessory lights. So I went ahead and ordered the Cyclops Aurora accessory lights that have the amber halo ring around them. I'll put a photo up here. They just haven't come in yet. They're on back order. I'm going to get them in a couple weeks. So I'm going to do all my wiring at once. So I'll do my heated grips, my accessory lights, and my GPS or my phone power. I'll do all those 3 things at once, because taking apart this headlight pod is kind of a pain if you watch the videos on that. Okay, speaking of controls, I did go with the KTM Rally Footpegs. I got these used for pretty cheap on Adventure Rider, so I figured I'll try them. The only thing I was looking at on Footpegs is that I would kind of prefer to have the Footpegs maybe a ½ inch lower, and some of the Footpegs do that, but you know, I wasn't sure if it was worth the extra price just to get the ½ inch lower down. The reason for that is I wish I had a little bit more leg room for street riding when you're sitting on the bike, but you know, it's fine. It's ½ inch is not going to make that much difference. So happy with those. The Rally Footpegs are pretty affordably priced. Even brand new, they're only like $149, which is a lot cheaper than a lot of the Footpegs out there. So getting into some of the protection on the bike. So I talked about the handguards. I think those are pretty essential. If you drop your bike or smash it into a tree, it's nice to have the metal handguards. I did go with those. Other protection items, I got this brake reservoir cover from Rottweiler. I like Rottweiler, good company. They're here based here in Southern California, so get the stuff in a couple days, and great guys over there. Again, no affiliation. I had to pay full price for it. So I've got that protector there. Let's talk about skid plates. So I still have the stock skid plate, which you can see kind of how thin this thing is. I do plan to upgrade it. I'm just trying to decide which skid plate to get, but that is going to be an upgrade because I just don't think that this, I mean, I might get a few rides out of it, but I don't know. I just feel better with a thicker skid plate underneath. A lot of people are going with the Black Dog skid plate, which looks like a great choice. I know Brett over at on his channel, I respect him a lot. He decided to go with that. It mounts to the Footpeg mount, so to the frame instead of the engine, which I think is great. Tusk does have a skid plate that I've been looking at. They call it the Quiet Glide, but it mounts in a stock location, which I'm not so sure about, because if you really had a hard hit, it's going to transfer the force into the engine case instead of the frame of the bike. So I don't know, something to think about. I'll probably go with the Black Dog skid plate. Moving on to exhaust. So I still have the stock exhaust. It's not bad. I am thinking about changing it out to get a better sound. A little bit throatier sound might be nice. The other idea I'm toying with is going with a decat, taking the catalytic out. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of doing my research, but a lot of people have assured me that no, the bike will be fine if you take the catalytic out, and it has, you know, computers and stuff that can adjust for more airflow, so it'll be okay. I don't know, just a little nervous to take it out because it seems like it would mess with the fueling, but everyone's telling me it's fine, so maybe I'll take it out because it's a big piece down here, and it's a lot of heat, extra heat and weight. So maybe I'll take that out, and that's going to give me more sound if I do that. One thing I did do to the intake system that you can't see because I've got all this crap on here right now, but I put on the Rottweiler power plate. And the reason I did that, so what the power plate is, I'll put the photo here, is it's simply a foam pre-filter. You take off the stock airbox cover plate, and you basically screw on this setup that gives you a foam pre-filter, and they give you different densities of foam. So it gives you an oiled foam pre-filter to pre-filter the dirt before it goes into your paper filter. The paper filter works fine. It does filter the dust just fine. But the nice thing about the foam one is, you can clean it real quick. You can carry spares with you that are really easily just carry some oiled spare ones in a plastic bag in your luggage or whatever. Change them out if you're riding really dusty conditions. I just figured having 2 stages of filtration would be great. KTM kind of has some history with air boxes that get dust through the airbox, and I don't want to take any chance with that. I don't know, on the 790, the airbox design seems to be better sealed than some of the older bikes, like the 1190s that had that issue, but time will tell. But the power plate seemed like cheap insurance for $70. Plus it gives you a little bit more airflow coming into the airbox, which can only be a good thing. So I want to touch on a few other protection items that I've got. So I went over to Camel ADV, again, no affiliation, no sponsorship, and I got their package for this bike. So they give you the heat shield for the shock. So what it does, it prevents all the heat, this massive amount of heat from the catalytic converter here going up into your shock and heating your shock up. So I figured, that's cheap insurance, a nice thing to have. Even if I take the catalytic out, it still keep any heat from the engine exhaust away from the shock, which is a good thing. Obviously there's a lot of shock failures out there on these bikes. I don't know if it's the heat causing it, but it can't hurt to have that. 2 other items from Camel ADV. So this one's a little bit harder to see, but you can see in here I put on the neck brace. So the neck brace basically, long story short, the mount for the fairing on this bike that holds the headlight pod is kind of weak. It just uses these 2 bolts here, and all of the shaking of all that weight over time off-road, these can actually shear off. So this brings a bracket down across the frame here and through an existing hole. It takes like 10 minutes to put on and will prevent any sort of problems with that shearing off in the future. So that was a nice cheap insurance. Okay, I can't believe I almost forgot. The third item from Camel is the 1-finger clutch. So I really like the 1-finger clutch. What it does is that it makes your clutch pull extremely light and gives you better modulation on the clutch. So that's one of the first things I did when I got this package. Very happy with that. It takes like 10-20 minutes to put on. It's adjustable. You've got 3 different holes here if you want to have a stock pull or medium or really soft. I have it on the softest setting, and I love it. The bike feels much better with that. So very happy with that addition. You can also see I've got a side stand foot. I got the Tusk side stand foot here. I thought it looks cool with the orange, and it was super cheap, like $12, really good quality. Really happy with that. I did show in my video about the buffeting this little windshield extension. Surprisingly, it still hasn't broken. It's still holding up. Now, I recently switched helmets to a Climb Krios Pro, and despite the fact that that's like the most expensive helmet in the world, I'm getting more buffeting with that helmet or more wind noise. So I may have to take this off and move the shield back down to the low position and see how that is, especially because it's summertime, it's kind of hot, so I think I'll get the extra airflow. But yeah, I'm surprised this thing hasn't broken yet. So a few other updates on the bike. Like I said, I just passed the 600-mile service mark. The stock tires are just okay. The Karoo 3s, they're fine. I mean, for a stock tire, they're not bad. I've certainly had worse stock tires. Some people say that they're terrible. They have no grip. I don't agree with that. They're just okay. I'll probably wear through them, or at least wear out the back, and then maybe consider changing the set out for a different set. I don't really have any major complaints with them. Not the greatest tire, but they're acceptable. They're a good little 50-50 tire. They're fine. I am also considering, I don't know about the seat yet. I have the stock seat and it feels okay, but I need to go for a really long ride to see how the seat feels, get a sense of it. The GPS, steering damper. So, the bike has a steering damper from the factory, right? And it gives you a little bit of damping, but it's not like an off-road steering damper. Here, I can show you. So here's the stock steering damper. It's just one of these basic ones. It's more for street use. It is good to have it, but I am considering, going ahead and bolting up like a GPR or a Scots. It's just it's a pretty big purchase if you've looked at them. They're like $600. So I don't know. I'm evaluating that to see if that's something that I need. I'm also changing out the mirrors to a double take adventure mirror. I did order them. I went ahead and got those mirrors, so they just haven't come in the mail yet. So these stock kind of Mickey Mouse ears are going to go away. Put those in a box. Suspension settings, I'm still playing with the suspension settings to try to get it ironed out. I'm still, I mean, like you guys mentioned, like I mentioned in my last video on the suspension, the bike's still breaking in, still got to get used to it, see how it kind of also works with the extra weight on the back, and see if that's one of the factors, and still playing with the clickers and the adjustments to try to dial it in. But at this point, hopefully I don't think I'm going to have to revalve and spend the money to do that. So a couple people have asked how I have the X grip up here. So what I did was I simply took an existing mounting plate that I had, a Ram mounting plate, and basically took off the stock piece that is not the GPS holder the KTM sells, but just the stock piece that's here. Took that off, drilled holes in it. So I've actually got four. I've got that bolted down in four on all four sides to the stock piece. It's super solid. It's not going anywhere. So I can put my phone up here and run a GPS app on the phone, or I could put a GPS up here if I decide to get like a Zumo XT or something like that. So that was really easy to do. You don't need to buy anything to do that. I mean, if you already have a Ram mount set up and you already have a Ram base like this, just drill into the stock. This thing just unbolts, the stock plate unbolts, and you can drill into it to your heart's content, and it seems really, really solid to me. So I am fine with that for now. So yeah, I love the bike so far. I think this thing's awesome. You know, I'm going to have quite the adventure with this thing in the future, I hope, and have it for a few years. I'll keep putting parts on it. I'll give you guys an update later. If you have questions or comments down below, if you have things you think that I've done wrong or things you think that you would do differently, let me know down in the comments. We'll have a discussion about it. I really do appreciate your guys' feedback and comments. It helps the riding community, helps us all learn from each other. So anyway, ride safe. We'll see you guys next time. Please hit the subscribe button and a thumbs up button if you could do that. Would appreciate it. Okay, thanks. Talk to you next time.